In the heart of Eastern Europe, a country rich in history and culture found itself caught in the throes of a devastating war. Ukraine, a land of vast fields, vibrant cities, and warm-hearted people, became the backdrop for a conflict that would change the lives of its citizens forever. The war, which began in 2014, escalated dramatically in 2022, plunging the nation into chaos and despair. This is the story of one family's journey through the turmoil, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. The Ivanov family lived in a quaint village near Kharkiv, where sunflowers stretched towards the sky and the scent of freshly baked bread wafted through their home. Mikhail, the father, was a farmer, tending to their small plot of land with his wife, Elena, and their two children, Sasha and little Oksana. Life was simple but fulfilling, filled with laughter, love, and the occasional squabble over chores. As the war began, Mikhail and Elena tried to shield their children from the harsh realities unfolding around them. News of skirmishes and military movements trickled in, but the family clung to hope, believing that their village would remain untouched. However, as the months passed, the sounds of distant explosions became a grim reminder that peace was slipping away. One fateful morning, the tranquility of their village was shattered. Sirens wailed, and the ground trembled as missiles struck nearby. In a panic, Mikhail gathered his family and they rushed to the basement, their sanctuary. As they huddled together, fear gripped their hearts. They listened to the chaos above, the cries of neighbors, and the relentless roar of war. It was a moment that would forever alter their lives. In the days that followed, the Ivanovs faced an agonizing choice: stay and risk their lives or flee to safety. Mikhail, torn between his love for his land and the need to protect his family, ultimately decided to leave. With heavy hearts, they packed what little they could carry and embarked on a journey toward the western part of the country, where they hoped to find refuge. The road was fraught with danger. They encountered checkpoints manned by soldiers who scrutinized their every move. The family witnessed the devastation of towns that had once been vibrant, now reduced to rubble. Each mile they traveled felt like a piece of their old life slipping away. Oksana, only 7, clutched her stuffed bear tightly, her innocent eyes reflecting confusion and fear. After days of travel, they reached Lviv, a city that had become a haven for many displaced families. The Ivanovs found temporary shelter in a community center, where volunteers provided food and clothing. The warmth of the people was a balm for their wounded spirits, but the reality of their situation weighed heavily on them. Mikhail struggled to find work, and Elena, once a devoted homemaker, felt lost in a world that had turned upside down. As the weeks turned into months, the family adjusted to their new reality. They made friends with other displaced families, sharing stories of loss and hope. Mikhail found work at a local construction site, where he labored tirelessly to support his family. Elena, too, began volunteering, helping to distribute food and supplies to those in need. Together, they forged a new life, but the scars of war lingered. The war had not only disrupted their lives, but had also strained their relationships. Mikhail, once a pillar of strength, found himself grappling with feelings of inadequacy. The weight of providing for his family in such uncertain times was overwhelming. He often withdrew into silence, leaving Elena to shoulder the emotional burden. Their once vibrant conversations dwindled, replaced by the unspoken tension of their shared trauma. Sasha, now a teenager, struggled to cope with the changes. He had been forced to leave his friends and school behind, and the uncertainty of the future gnawed at him. He found solace in the company of other young people in Lviv, but the sense of belonging was fleeting. He often felt guilty for enjoying moments of laughter when so many were suffering. Oksana, on the other hand, remained a beacon of light in their dark days. Her laughter, though tinged with sadness, reminded them of the innocence that war had stolen. She would often draw pictures of their home, of sunflowers and blue skies, and share them with the other children in the shelter. Her creativity became a source of healing for the family, a reminder of the beauty that still existed in the world. As time passed, the Ivanovs began to rebuild their lives, but the war continued to rage on. They watched as news reports detailed the ongoing struggles of their fellow countrymen, the destruction of cities and the loss of lives. Each story resonated deeply within them, serving as a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. In the spring of 2023, a glimmer of hope emerged as peace talks began to take shape. The world watched with bated breath, hoping that the negotiations would lead to a lasting resolution. For the Ivanov family, the prospect of returning home became a flicker of light in the darkness that had enveloped their lives for so long. Mikhail and Elena discussed the possibility of going back to their village, but the decision weighed heavily on them. They had forged a new life in Lviv, and the thought of returning to a place that might be unrecognizable was daunting. Yet, the longing for their home, for the fields of sunflowers and the familiar scent of baked bread, tugged at their hearts. Sasha, now more aware of the world around him, felt a deep yearning to reconnect with his roots. He missed his friends, the laughter that echoed through their village, and the sense of belonging that had been ripped away from him. Oksana, too, spoke of home often, her innocent drawings transforming into vibrant depictions of their village, filled with color and life. As the days turned into weeks, the family found themselves caught in a cycle of hope and despair. They watched the news, clinging to every update about the peace talks, praying for a resolution that would allow them to return. The community center in Lviv had become a second home, but the memories of their past life haunted them. One evening, as they gathered for dinner, Mikhail broke the silence that had settled over the table. "What if we started preparing to go back?" he asked. His voice steady but filled with uncertainty. Elena looked at him, her heart racing. "Are we ready for that?" she replied, her brow furrowed. "I think we need to try," Mikhail said, his gaze firm. "We can't let fear dictate our lives forever. We have to believe that we can rebuild." Elena nodded slowly, understanding the weight of his words. "If we go back, we'll need to be strong. It won't be easy." Sasha, who had been listening intently, chimed in. "I want to go back. I want to see my friends again, even if it's different." Oksana, her eyes wide with hope, added, "And I want to draw the sunflowers again. They'll be waiting for us." With renewed determination, the Ivanovs began to prepare for their journey home. They gathered supplies, reached out to friends in their village, and made plans for their return. As the days passed, the atmosphere in their temporary home shifted from one of uncertainty to one of anticipation. Finally, in late May, the day arrived. The Ivanovs packed their belongings and set off on the road back to their village. The journey felt different this time, filled with a sense of purpose and hope. As they drove through the countryside, they witnessed the resilience of their fellow countrymen, who were rebuilding their lives amid the ruins. When they arrived at their village, the sight was both heartbreaking and uplifting. Many homes had been damaged, but the spirit of the community remained intact. Neighbors greeted them with tears of joy and open arms, sharing stories of survival and loss. The Ivanovs felt a surge of gratitude for the bonds that had endured despite the chaos. Over the following weeks, the family worked tirelessly to restore their home. Mikhail and Elena joined their neighbors in clearing debris and rebuilding what had been lost. Sasha reconnected with his friends, finding solace in shared experiences, while Oksana's laughter echoed through the village as she played with the other children, her drawings now a testament to their resilience. As summer blossomed, the fields of sunflowers began to bloom once more, standing tall against the backdrop of a recovering village. The Ivanovs found comfort in the familiar sights and sounds, a reminder that life could flourish even in the aftermath of destruction. They planted new seeds, both in their garden and in their hearts, nurturing hope for the future. The scars of war would always remain, but the Ivanovs learned to embrace their journey, understanding that resilience was woven into the very fabric of their lives. They became advocates for peace, sharing their story with others, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, the human spirit could shine brightly. As the sun set over the fields, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Mikhail, Elena, Sasha, and Oksana stood together, hand in hand. They gazed out at the sunflowers swaying gently in the breeze, a symbol of their enduring strength and the promise of new beginnings. In that moment, they understood that home was not just a place. It was the love they shared and the hope they carried within them.